The relationship between Ito and Araya started with a series of projects where they experimented with the use of aluminium as a structural material, as Araya was making specific studies in this way. The first example I will show you, is a temporary pavilion building brush that is part of these experimental projects. Designers wanted to keep their approach to the structure as simple as possible, so this pavilion was built employing a single structural element entirely in aluminium, composed by an honeycomb pallet reinforced by a hollow element fixed on both the faces of the panel. So these oval elements at the same time take an expressive role that characterize the image of the building and have a fundamental function at the static level that is demonstrated in the experimental mock-up and the scale model made by the Office of Sasaki, in which the absence of the ovals made the honeycomb too weak. As demonstrated by the series of sketches shown on the right, there were several possible configurations of the pattern of panel, with alternative relationships with the consequent bending moment. The final disposition was therefore the result of a shared choice of an architect and a structural designer. Another example is the well-known showroom designed for Tots in Tokyo. That is a volume defined by a surface which serves as both graphic pattern and structural system. This pattern is entirely generated by repeating and overlapping an abstract silhouette of a tree. Thanks to this lattice-shaped pattern, Ito and Araya characterize the image of the building, and at the same time they obtain a resulting envelope that supports slab spanning 15 meters without internal columns. Designer chose as diagram the silhouette of a tree because they recognize in this natural shape an inherent structural rationality. The ramification, in fact, allow the flow of load to follow a logical distribution. This is also evidenced by the arrangement of framework that perfectly follow the development of the branches. Finally, the relationship between Ito and Gamboni is due to a direct interest of Ito towards the methods of these structural designs. The separating gallery pavilion is their only project actually realized. The final image of the building is the result of an iterative calculation based on an algorithm designed by Balmond that superimposed the scaled rotation of a single square and ultimately extends the edge to the borderline of the roof. In this manner, designers identified an apparently random structural lattice which also determines the overall image of the pavilion. So, designers were able to check the formal development of the wrapping, modifying parameters set at the beginning, as the point where the adjacent sides are connected or the number of the repetition of the calculation, and so the computer was able to produce different statically reliable solutions. Design for the Taichung Metropolitan Opera House proposes the same diagram of another project, the Game Forum, that it realized in collaboration with Araya. This diagram allowed to articulate interior in two separate but continuous types of space, which reverse level by level their dimensional relationship. Here, Ito certainly involved Balmond because this flexible scheme can be more easily managed by adopting algorithms, especially in the rationalization of the structural system. By analyzing the processes that led to the achievement of these projects, it is possible to highlight how the relationship between Ito and the three structural designers goes beyond a simple relationship between designer and specialized consultants. This is evident since the same topics pursued by Ito during the last 10 years have found a very different resolution depending on the structural design with whom he collaborated. So, I wanted to highlight the potential of a collaboration between architect and structural designer, especially with the advances in information technology, because I believe that the working methodology of Ito is a good example beyond this specific form of research. Thank you for attention.